experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, what a night it has been in the Magnolia State as storms have worked their way on through and left us with a pretty calm night heading into our Thursday evening, wrapping up the work week, heading into our Friday. Excited for that forecast. We'll track that here in just a moment. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe. You've probably seen a lot of me and Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobb on for your Thursday evening, so don't worry, I won't keep you too long at the 10 o'clock hour. Much calmer conditions moving overnight. That's the big headline. Emphasis on that. Excited about that calmer pattern shifting into North Mississippi, and much cooler come Friday. Did you miss the cold temperatures? Well, you'll get a little hint of it before that warm air returns. So playoff football, it's here. And heading into that Ole Miss kickoff, we're looking at a more mild start than what you may think heading into your Friday. Again, we'll break that down here in just a moment. Let's first start with the first 12. No better way to do so. Showcases that forecast overnight as 11 p.m., 46 degrees with those clear skies. And those clear skies linger overnight, allowing for any of that heat that's in the atmosphere to escape. Those northerly breezes cycling in that cooler air. And that's why we're starting our Friday morning right around that freezing mark. So potential for some frost is in the forecast, but definitely need to crank that heat during that morning commute. Luckily, we'll see plenty of sunshine, but with the pattern that we're under, that sunshine's not going to translate to warmer temperatures. We'll see that here in just a moment. Let's take a live look outside there in Cleveland. Beautiful sight there. A little bit breezy, though. I know our reporting station is down, but I can tell you that some of those winds are sustained at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's as that high pressure system starts to move in back behind the front. Over in Amory, 54 degrees. Winds a little bit calmer because that front has just moved out of the area. So about 5 miles an hour out of the northwest, but the direction tells you the story. Northwest, meaning we're getting that cooler, drier air. So that's why our forecast for Friday looks superb, and we are excited for it. Dew point's still at 50 degrees, so that drier air is still working its way into the region, but slowly but surely we'll see it gradually move in. Now this is a sight, making 22 miles an hour sustained winds. And the reason why is because the front's just starting to clear that area. So with that, you saw the breezy conditions that we were under on that second line that moved on through. Still dealing with that for parts of Noxubee County, but expected to move out of there. Much calmer conditions move in, much cooler temperatures come Friday, and yeah, rinse and repeat all across North Mississippi. Let's take a look at that Mississippi Live Weather radar right now. Still feeling some of those breezy conditions out there in Noxubee County, but the rest of us, gotten that calmer forecast already in the area. Expanding things out, you can see Birmingham dealing with what we dealt with tonight, still having that first line and second line, one after the other. So I know the Maynard household back home are paying attention to that, but at least they don't have anything to worry about. A lot of that more inclement weather still going to be for portions south, right around Selma and Clanton. They're in Alabama, taking I-65 south. I remember driving that to the beach from my house over there in Birmingham. So know that area well, and I know folks over there are staying weather aware. Just, yeah, if you know of anyone over there, let them know it's going to be a stormy night. But luckily, we don't expect any severe weather. As we bring it back here to the Twin States, you can see that those heavy sections of rainfall starting to build there towards the southern sections of Tennessee and then on into northern Alabama with up to about 1 to possibly even 2 inches in some spots. So we have a few right there. I think we got up to 2 inches where those yellows are. The rest of the area, as we look there towards Birmingham and even over there towards northeast Mississippi, we're getting ½ of an inch up to 3/4 of an inch, all the way up to 1.5 inches there in Lowndes County. Let's go ahead and focus a little bit more on our viewing area. And as you can see, just highlighting in a few of this, I'm just going to randomly pop in a few of these totals. I'm not going to look for any specific areas because you can definitely see those heavier sections. The reason why it's a little bit heavier out here on the state line, it's because this is over the past 24 hours. So this morning, we had some rainfall work through the region, but that was the first round. And then it transitioned to a little bit more of a soggy forecast as we got into our afternoon. So that's why we have a little bit more of those rain totals. And even then, those heavier sections all the way along the Alabama state line, that's where those storms started in West Mississippi, worked their way through. And once they got to the eastern side, we had some pretty heavy downpours pouring in. So that's why we only have about 1/4 of an inch, whereas on the east side, we're talking 1 to 1.5 inches. So luckily for now, things are drying up, things are calming down, and we'll continue to see those calm conditions over the top of us as we head into our Friday. There's where that cold front currently sits. And that cold front, I'm saying cold front because it is going to be cold back behind it. High pressure wrapping around. And whenever you look at these ridging patterns or the high pressure systems that move overhead, the distance you are from that high shows the strength of that high pressure center. So those winds, albeit high pressure in North Texas, is reaching us all the way here in North Mississippi. So that's why we're starting to get those northwesterly winds back into the forecast. But whenever it's further away, that gradient gets a little bit tighter, and that's where we get stronger winds. So that's why we're saying a breezy start overnight and a breezy start for our Friday. So yes, it is going to be a little bit colder heading out the door tomorrow morning, but that's because all that northerly wind bringing in those colder conditions. So high pressure continues to build over the region. But I mean, if you look at those wind barbs out there in Dallas, not nearly comparable to what we're getting here in North Mississippi, where those winds are about 10 to 15. Dallas is maybe 5 miles an hour on the higher end. So that's why further away from the high, a little bit stronger those winds. As we work our way into our Friday morning, you can see that the high pressure does inch closer. So as we go about the day, high pressure does move closer and calms up those winds even by, late morning, early afternoon. So those breezy conditions are not going to last all day long, but while they are in place, it is going to drop those feels like values, maybe a degree or two because of that wind chill, especially with it coming right out of the northwest. I mean, that colder air is right overhead. And you can see by 1 p.m., still getting a little bit of that breeze, maybe the occasional cirrus cloud, but not going to do anything on those skies. It's going to remain blue and sunny all day long. So the next 24 is a beautiful forecast, but it is going to be a cold one at that. Right around freezing for the start of our Friday. By the afternoon, topping out in the upper 40s. Now you do see winds about 5 miles an hour for the start of the day, going to be about 10 miles an hour overnight, but getting into our afternoon forecast, only about calm to maybe 5 miles an hour. Definitely not anything to write home about, but either way, it is going to be a forecast that we can look forward to, especially after what we've gone through tonight. We'll be tracking the latest on that forecast, how that impacts our playoff games this weekend. We know one of our local teams is hosting. Unfortunately, it's not my Bulldogs, but the Rebels are still part of the Manor household, so we'll cheer them on. We'll look at that forecast in more detail coming up here from the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60. We're also going to be talking latest details on some rain chances in the future, how that may impact your weekend forecast. We'll talk latest details here on Mississippi Live Weather.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Okay, so we talked about it being a busy evening across the Magnolia State, and as you can see behind me, power outages are still of the utmost concern heading overnight. Now you can see 100 outages in Lee County, some of the homes, Matt's, and as well as the Manor household was out of power for at least a brief moment. Itawamba, 200 outages. Northwest Alabama definitely getting its fair share as well, with 800 in Marion, 800 in Lamar, and 500 there in Pickens County. Working our way south, 300 in Oktibbeha County, and as that update comes in, yes, 900 still in Grenada. Of course, power cooperatives are out and about this evening working to get those power outages taken care of. They are slowly but surely, I'm not even going to say slowly, they are getting this done as quickly as possible. It just takes a lot to get as many power outages as we are experiencing. It takes a lot to get those back up and running. So again, a big thank you to them for braving the conditions, braving those cold winds coming out of the northwest, and we do thank them very much. Trying to get that power going to keep us warm overnight as cold conditions do move in the forecast by our Friday morning. Now, we are talking about power outages, but some of those damage reports that we tracked across the region, you are getting a few of those trees down and things like that. Let's go ahead and talk the latest on those, and I'm going to have to drag in the mouse real quick. So right here, you see that large tree down across the highway. Radar analysis suggests non-severe winds. I would agree with that. That was that second line that was working on through, and whenever we had that issue, it was not exactly severe. And I was out there in it. I experienced it, and it was about 30 to 40 miles an hour, enough to knock down a couple trees, though, especially with how saturated those conditions were. So as I bring it back here, I want to show this one real quick. Tree down across the highway there in Union County, just on the west side of New Albany, and that is due to the heavy rain as well as those gradient winds on the second line. And speaking of that second line, yes, trees across the highway there in northeast Union County. If you do have any reports yourself, go ahead and forward that to us here at Mississippi Live Weather, and we will let the National Weather Service know to go ahead and issue those on damage reports. But yeah, so far, this is all we have. Another tree that's down across Highway 12 there in Lowndes County. That was at 7:55. So again, that second line that moved on through. Second line was just more significant. And so a lot of folks that are saying, my power's out and things like that, we fully expect it to with the breezy conditions that we were experiencing on top of an already saturated environment. So it comes as no surprise, but we do hope that gets fixed quickly. And again, I say that power cooperatives are out there working, hopefully getting that restored here shortly. Now let's go ahead and look at some of your Weather Watcher pictures out in the field. This came earlier on this evening. Jennifer in South Haven. This was the first area that saw that second line begin to build. And you can see some of those gloomy conditions, those dark clouds, and even a few what Matt and I would call SLCs, scary looking clouds. Definitely getting a bit of that there in South Haven, right there in DeSoto County. So luckily, no damage came out of this, and folks are okay. That's the best news that we can get whenever we're talking about these inclement weather events. Elena, this was over in Lee County, submitted this great strike right here. My word, even had a little bit of energy on the backside of it as well, forming a secondary strike. But either way, glad that didn't strike anybody. We did have a strike during our coverage that showed it hitting the trees over in Holka. So that definitely, I don't know for sure, but I can assume that a brief fire might have started, but luckily got to be taken out by the rainfall that took place afterwards. But lightning, not exactly an energetic system, but enough to do some damage in a few areas, striking all the way to the ground. That cloud-to-ground lightning is what we call it. And we got a bit of that here in North Mississippi. Lafayette County tonight, Oxford, 45 degrees, winds still 14 miles an hour, so breezy conditions out of the west. We do expect Oxford to be the busiest spot in North Mississippi this weekend. This as the Rebels take on the Tulane Green Wave, and we'll look at that forecast coming up in just a moment. But you've already seen a hint on your Friday. If that translates into Saturday, then we're sitting pretty heading into this weekend. Of course, I say it every time, we can't show Oxford without showing Starkville. 54 degrees, winds still 5 miles an hour out of the west. Dew point still relatively high, but that'll gradually work its way on back as we get into our Friday morning. And last but not least, got to show off the Tupelo cam. 50 degrees right now, dew point at 45. So even those dew points starting to recede just a bit. And we do expect it to recede because those temperatures get all the way down to around freezing. Temperatures can't go below the dew point, so dew point has to fall off with it. A big thank you to the folks at Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling for sponsoring this camera. A great look out in Lee County this evening. Still with a couple of outages, but as you can see, parts of downtown Tupelo definitely having their power, and the lights are shining brightly for any of those late Thursday evening folks traveling around the area. Now, as we take a look at our Mississippi Live Weather Radar, dry and clear, and that is the best forecast we can give you overnight, continuing to build across the region as we head into the start of our Friday. Looking at those temperatures, though, that's the next big thing, and our next big thing continues to work its way into the area, and that is that colder air. So temperatures right now, let's go ahead and talk that difference from northwest to southeast. 46 degrees Hernando, 58 degrees in Macon. And yes, colder conditions are moving in even beyond 46 degrees. As you can see, if we expand this out, 31 degrees Springfield. I don't know if we get that low, but right around freezing is not an impossibility. So some of these light blues working into the forecast, and our meteorologist Maggie McCauley will have the latest on that forecast coming up on your Friday morning, so make sure to stay tuned with that. But look at this temperature differential, and I didn't even include some of those locations way up into the north central part of the United States. I mean, we're talking about a 20 to 30 degree temperature change up there around Nebraska, but 16 Wichita, 21 Springfield, and we are getting a bit of those blues popping up in North Mississippi as we gradually work our way back into North Mississippi. 5 degree difference in Amory on the warmer side, but look at this gradient that's starting to form, still with that above average to below average conditions, and yes, those below average conditions do work their way into the rest of North Mississippi, so if you're enjoying some of those warmer temperatures, it will not last for long, as that cooler air does take over. So that building in overnight, day planner does show that 44 degrees falling off to around 33 degrees by the time we get towards that morning commute on our Friday. But hey, last day of the work week. It's the last day of the school week. Probably last day of school for the month for a lot of folks. So it's an exciting day, and I'm glad we're ending it with a bang, with a beautiful forecast. It just has to come with some colder air. So midnight tonight, still with those dry and clear conditions. We carry that forecast over into our Friday morning, and you can see not much happens in the sky. This is a result of that frontal boundary carrying a lot of that moisture further out towards the southeast. And we can see that right here, that very defined line of showers that we got tonight already going to be in Georgia and the Carolinas by Friday morning. Can we say fast-moving system? I mean, I think that is as quick as it comes whenever we're talking about a frontal boundary. So low temperatures on your Friday. With how quickly things are moving, the cool air quickly moves in behind it, and we're going to be sitting 30 degrees Tunica, Senatobia, South Haven, as well as Corinth. Not an impossibility to get 29 degrees in Marshall County, but as we work our way south, freezing there in Houston. Same thing, Eupora, 33 Kosciuszko, 35 Macon, and 39 towards Aliceville. Now, that's not saying that temperatures couldn't cool off more, but it's the last area of our coverage area that's going to be getting that cooler air to move in. So that's why it's, of course, going to be warmer the further south and east you go compared to what we're getting in the northwest. And I did say wind chill would play a part in this forecast, bumping us down to the mid-20s for some feels-like values in Boonville and Holly Springs, upper 20s in Tupelo and Oxford, low 30s Bruce, same thing around Eupora and Starkville. So grab your jackets. I know you set them to the side with all these mild conditions, but get them back out. You will need it heading out the door for your Friday morning. And last time I could show this for 2025, pickup at the school bus stop. It's going to be 32 degrees, 49 by drop-off. Can you guys believe it? 2026. Golly, did you accomplish everything you wanted to in 25? Well, you have a couple weeks to do it. Speaking of a couple weeks, I mean, there's 1 week, less than a week left until Christmas. So I hope you have that shopping done. Gentlemen, I am talking to you because I know I've been guilty of it in the past, but this year, I want to say I'm proud I got my Christmas shopping done a little bit early. Now, if it can just arrive on time, that'd be the greatest Christmas gift of it all. All right, 7:30 on your Friday. You can see high pressure still overhead, continues to build into the area as we get into our Friday morning and Friday afternoon. Potential for a few cirrus clouds. That's what we get with these thin clouds way high up into the atmosphere. And we usually get that again with this configuration of that cloud cover. So I'm not expecting anything that's too dense in the sky. I do expect that sunshine to remain overhead all day long. Great forecast. Excited for it. Excited to get outside and enjoy it. I already told the dogs we're going on a walk tomorrow. So if they hear me at home, we're going on a walk tomorrow. 3 p.m. continue to see that a little bit of cloud cover, but again, cirrus clouds right overhead. And as we carry that into our Friday evening plans, still looking like a great forecast. I do want to say one note with this forecast, and it's going to be outside of North Mississippi. This is what we'll look at here in a second with our college football forecast. Look at Oklahoma. Breezy conditions. Look at the tails on those wind barbs. I mean, that is a breezy forecast. Been talking about it all week long. That kicking game going to be, I'm not going to say impossible, but close to impossible. Run game will reign supreme as the Crimson Tide travel over there towards Norman to take on a Boomer Sooner out there in Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma. So should be a great matchup. We'll talk more details on that forecast in just a moment. High temperatures, 46 Boonville, Corinth, Senatobia, Holly Springs, 47 Oxford, 50 Starkville, Columbus, and Houston, and 51 Macon, Louisville, and 52 around Kosciuszko. So as we build into that futurecast, Friday evening, staying on the drier side once again, a little bit of cloud cover here and there, but again, that's not going to put any rainfall in the sky. Staying dry for any of those Friday night plans we may have. Crimson Tide fans, maybe it's a potential celebration for you depending on how things go in Norman. And either way, should be a good forecast for you guys. As we head into our Saturday morning, of course, that's when things get a little bit more busy in the Magnolia State. This as the Ole Miss Rebels have their kickoff against Tulane in the afternoon, but we know that our Saturdays begin right away in the mornings with tailgating in the Grove, and it's going to be a great forecast for it. A little bit cold to start off your Saturday morning, but as we build into the mid to late morning, already getting those southerly breezes, and I'm saying breezes, might as well say gusts as well, because it's going to be a breezy forecast, and that's going to work in that Gulf moisture and Gulf heating, making for some warmer temperatures by the afternoon. But as we get more into that afternoon forecast, we do see another front start to move into the area, and that front could potentially bring us some showers by our Sunday, but Saturday staying dry, and it will continue to stay mostly clear as we head about any of those plans, including kickoff for the Ole Miss Rebels. So high temperatures Saturday afternoon. You can already see that warmer air overhead. 60 Boonville, Red Bay, and Iuka. 63 Clarksdale, and 62 around Oxford around kickoff. Should be a great looking forecast, as good as it can get this time of year in the Magnolia State. 68 Greenwood, Kosciuszko, and 64 towards Louisville. It's going to continue to enjoy those great conditions overhead. Now, Alabama, I mentioned they're traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners, and it is going to be relatively mild, as good as it's going to get for a December forecast in Oklahoma. 54 degrees first play, 51 halftime, and 51 by that final snap. Still with mostly clear skies, but all eyes fall on those winds. 15 to 20 miles an hour, sustained winds throughout the game. Gusts all the way up to 30, so make sure to batten down the hatches, as I said earlier on this evening. It's going to be similar conditions to what we had with that secondary front tonight. That's going to be how it feels in Norman. So you can imagine what those players are playing in out there in Oklahoma. Tulane traveling into town to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. That's going to be around 2:30 on your Saturday. And like I said, a picture-perfect forecast. 61 degrees first play, 55 by that final snap. Still with mostly clear skies, it's a great forecast. Now, great forecast might not be the term used to describe Christmas. And I saw some folks saying, Gabe, you promised me a warm and sunny forecast for Christmas. Unfortunately, not the case. And I am so sorry about that. I don't think I ever said clear, but I did say calm and dry. And that's what I can say. It's going to be dry, but that cloud cover does build in. But those warm temperatures, that's the big story for our Christmas. If you want a white Christmas, well, you moved to the wrong state for it. 70 degrees by Christmas Eve, 71 by Christmas. It's going to be a little bit breezy on Christmas as well. Maybe that'll be some relief for those warmer conditions. But yeah, Christmas, it's not going to feel like it at all. You're probably going to be in shorts and a t-shirt while you're opening those gifts. So prepare accordingly. But it is going to be a great time. And we are so excited to bring in the holiday season with Christmas and New Year's. And we hope that you guys are too. And of course, we'll keep you guys informed here from the Room to Room Weather Center. Our 7-day forecast, 49 degrees high temperature Friday, climbing back into the low 60s by Saturday. Now, we did see that front pushing into the region, dropping those temperatures just slightly, upper 50s Sunday and Monday. But then once that moisture clears on out, look at where temperatures go. And that's only up from there. 66 Tuesday, 70 Christmas Eve, 71 Christmas Day. And those low temperatures on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are actually going to be warmer than our high temperatures tomorrow. That should tell you how warm things are going to get here in North Mississippi. So I see some folks saying, go Bama, go Ole Miss. We'll gladly cheer on our local teams and hope the best for them. And as we take a look at, let me see. I'm just checking the chat. Warm, yeah. Warm is definitely the name of the game. So I hope you guys are ready for a warm forecast for your Christmas. Going to be a great time though. And of course, we'll keep you guys updated here at Mississippi Live Weather. So I hope you guys have a great evening, a great end of the work week. And we do ask one thing. There's one thing on our Christmas list. And that's that you guys download the Mississippi Live Weather app if you have not done so already. For those that have, thank you so much for supporting us here at Mississippi Live Weather. It has been a journey, but excited to wrap up 2025 with you guys. Couldn't have asked for any more blessings. The Lord has really prevailed and given us quite a bit, and we are forever grateful for what He has done for us and what you guys have been for us as well here in North Mississippi. I want to send my heartfelt thank you, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and we just can't get enough of the support. I mean, we just appreciate you guys so much more than you even realize. Our next broadcast does come up Friday morning with meteorologist Maggie McCauley at 6:30, 7, and 7:30. And don't forget our evening broadcast, Friday evening at 5, 6, and 10. Yeah, it'll be that regular broadcast time, no cut-ins early, but it is going to be a drier forecast. Here's the latest on what to expect for then, and your weekend forecast ahead coming up on Mississippi Live Weather on your Friday. Until then, have a fantastic Friday ahead.